Hi everybody, I'm Symes, and this is a space station.
It is indeed a space station. And that's Jebediah on it, and I'm Robin.
Also, that's the voice of Robin, who you may remember from every other episode we've ever done.
Indeedy.
And yes,
Hello.
there's Jebediah. Jebediah,
Yep.
the
Disembodied head.
disembodied head.
And his two frenetically happy friends.
Johan and Dude Cal, who are just absolutely overjoyed with being in the lab, apparently.
Yeah. He's also got a very good name, Dude Cal.
Dude Cal, yes.
The space station does look very impressive from there, I must say.
It's looking good.
Floating over the planet.
And it's more or less finished
Majestic-like.
now, in terms of science anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking on how long this experiment has to go, and it's just under halfway done.
Right.
So a while to go yet. So
Okay.
because
So what's on the menu this week then?
yes, well, because station science is seems to be about setting experiments off and then going and doing something else while they run, we're going to go and do something else.
Uh-huh.
So this is a fuel station, so I thought we should go and mine some fuel from the moon. Because
Fuel from the moon.
free fuel.
It's just
from
so
the moon.
crazy it just might work.
I know. It's amazing. So that's what we're going to do, and because it's a tradition now, there's going to be a small parts testing montage as well.
Okay.
This is
Everyone loves a montage.
I'm actually showing the 3 parts test contracts here because I've realised that I didn't ever do that before.
OMB.
So it might be nice to show what it is that we're going to test.
Okay.
We've got a stack separator, a small engine, and a launch escape system, which is that
Handy.
rockety thing.
In case anything
So
explodes.
this is the separator
It's
and
like
the launch
circular
escape system. That was a very quick test there.
thing. Oh, right. Yep.
And then there's tiny little orange engines which go into the sea, splosh, and test them, and it's done. So this is the craft we're launching today.
On its improbable stilts.
Yep, the Prospector.
That's got lots of boosters on there, so it's got rockets attached to a rocket. On top of that, there's some more rockets. In between that is probably some more rockets, and above that, I can see some rockets.
2 rockets. Yeah, there's
So
inside.
basically, we're sending rockets into space.
We are. There's a fairing in the middle there, because there's a rocket on the stack too. But the reason it's like that is there's actually 2 craft joined together, which are being launched at the same time.
Ah,
Which is one of the reasons why this ship masses 401.4 tons.
blimey! So it's a
Yeah.
twofer.
So it's the Prospector on the top and the tanker underneath.
We got 3 Kermans we're sending into space as well.
There's
They're
actually
all lated.
Yeah, they're all called Kerman. Every single
Ah,
one. There's actually 4 crew. You just can't see. There's a little arrow on the right there. Because there's 2 lander cans in there, one for each of the individual ships
Wow!
we've got.
Look at that fuel go down.
Yep. Burning into space.
And we made 4K at least.
So
5K
5k before we drop the solids, and then we're on the big liquid fuel booster, which starts to overheat, and I go whoops and throttle it down.
Yep.
'Cause
Nope.
we
I
want
don't
that
see
to
any
explode.
significant amount of wobble though. That's good.
No, there is a bit. It's not too bad.
Not like we've
It's
seen the
not-
pogo sticking before.
Yeah, it's not fighting me and pogoing the way the other stuff was.
We've got plenty of fuel left as well.
Yes, there's two of the biggest tanks there on that. So there's actually this rocket has as much fuel in it as our fuel station can hold, and we're going to burn it all.
Get us up into space.
Go up into
Oh, we're on 30k. That's
into
looking
orbit.
good.
So yeah, apoapsis is passing 55k, so it's just about to go outside the atmosphere. Yep.
Nearly used up all our fuel there.
Yep.
Oop.
So apoapsis is at 82.5, so we should cut the engines, circularize the orbit, press the right buttons. That's better.
Wave your arms. Do a
Try
little
not to
dance.
be too much of a... Because I had to fight the urge to get the orbit perfectly circular, like I keep doing, because we're not even going to stay in this orbit. This is just stabilise the orbit so we can plan for a moon transfer, so I don't need a perfect
Bit of a
orbit.
slingshot sort of thing.
Yeah, you just need to be basically parked in orbit so you can plan. Whoa! And when you're up close, it actually is wobbling quite a lot.
That is, yeah, there's a lot of
Wow.
jadder there. Yeah.
And the rocket actually swivels madly when I eject the
Off it goes.
engine as well. So that's the orbit.
That seems like is that all a teeny amount of fuel we've got left there?
It looks like a teeny amount because the tanker is largely empty.
Ah, right.
Because it's meant to carry a huge amount of fuel, and so I thought, well, you don't want to. It doesn't need that much to get to the moon and land.
Right.
So-
Of course, we're going to bring fuel back.
Yes, we don't need to take lots of fuel to the moon. We just need to take enough
Indeed.
fuel to land on the moon, and so we've got our transfer to the moon going. And this is about the stage where I go, maybe this engine I put on isn't quite as thrusty as we might like, because this is a
thrusty. Good term.
This is a 3-minute burn to get out to the moon orbit, because I'm using that big nuclear engine that we looked at the last time.
Yeah.
But it's carrying quite a lot of mass, and it's not super powerful. It is very, very efficient, which is one of the reasons I chose it, because it means you get most of your fuel that you're wanting to bring back. You actually get it back rather than having it burnt in the transfer. But it's kind of not sure about the acceleration on it. But anyway,
bit chuggy.
Mission's underway now, so it's too late to turn back. Plus the fact that the craft hasn't got any parachutes on it. So,
so all in, we're basically there for the duration.
We are, and if this rocket does not have a thrust weight of greater than 1 for Kerbal, so there's no way it can safely land there.
Oh.
So it's up in space now, and that's where it's going to stay. So here we are at the moon.
There we go. That's a nice view, actually.
Yeah.
It looks like something's rotating madly on the top there.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, there is the carbonite
radar
sensor is sitting on the top, and that's sort of waving around like a crazy thing.
Hopefully making beep noises.
Yes, you can kind of see it there, and we're actually using ScanSat to scan the surface for carbonite. And it says there's Kerbal. There's Kerbal.
That's lovely.
It says the altitude's so optimal, so our orbit's
doesn't look like we're leaving orbit there actually from that angle.
It's a very elliptical orbit. It's 180 kilometers maximum, 29 kilometers minimum, and because it says the altitude's suboptimal, I'm assuming that we need to go out further, and 100k or better is apparently ideal. So I now make the orbit 100k all the way, so we can do some surface scanning and look for carbonite. So that's what we do.
Indeed.
And this luckily is only a 5-second burn to sort the orbit out, so it's going to take very long. But you can see it's got an abundance thing there.
All right.
For carbonite, for the spot that you're currently passing over. And once we're established in the orbit, then we'll have a look at the maps and see what it's doing.
Okay.
So there we are. Orbit established. Pull the solar panel out to power things.
Not many lights on it as usual, though.
No, there are lights on it for landing. I did remember to put them on. Pull the big map up, and there's a load of swath of orange for where
the orange is the good stuff.
Yep. And
that's where the tasty cheese is.
The darker the orange is, the more there is there. So we're kind of looking and I'm hovering over, there's 4,500 parts per million in that spot I'm hovering over right now. At 11 latitude, 11 longitude, roughly. So that seems like a good spot to aim for, because it's more or less along the equator.
Yep.
And our orbit is slightly elliptical, but it's largely equatorial, because it's much easier to sort of rendezvous with stuff in orbit.
So we need to engage plummet mode.
So we kind of have a look at this and basically plan to land there, which happens to be in the northwest crater, so it's a pretty good, obvious thing to be able to aim for as well.
Hopefully a bit flat.
That is the hope, yes.
Not covered in horrible, dangerous rocks. My
sloped landing abilities somewhat on the questionable side, but yes. So we decided to go for that.
Fingers crossed.
So we're gonna. But the northwest crater is currently in the dark side of the moon, so I can't really see it. So this is why we're sort of whizzing round and round a few times.
Yep.
See if we can get it to come round into the sunshine, so we can try and land. So, yeah, not yet. Oop, a few more times. And just check the map again, because the orbit does kind of it would uncover slightly more each time. It's not a brilliant orbit for uncovering stuff, but it would.
No.
But anyway, you can see there in the top left of the moon.
It's a bit wider.
That's the northwest crater. It's now coming around into the sunshine. Mm-hmm. So we're going to shift the orbit so we can go and land in it.
Right.
And that's
all that tasty cheese.
Cheese or whatever,
Yeah.
Carbonite and cheese, it's more or less the same.
Yeah. All taste the same on your toast.
Not sure about that, actually. I haven't tried carbonite on my toast, to be honest with you, so you might be right. I really don't know.
The way I make toast is normally carbonite.
Just black anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's our descent.
Okay. That looks good. we've changed our what's the name?
So we're going to go
We're
down.
blue instead of yellow now, and round we go.
Hovering over, and this now we adjust.
How high up are we then? 31k?
28 kilometers above the surface, 30k above like mean surface level, which I still can't remember the correct term for, but yeah, it's slightly hilly, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, mean thingy.
So I'm checking my fuel, which is not hugely high.
No, it does look utterly teeny, I must say.
And we're coming in, just burning 20 kilometers up. Retract that panel in case it gets jogged loose.
Yep, don't want the panel falling off.
There will be time for me to describe what's on the lander after it's landed. Incidentally, there's a few things on there, but I will be able to talk about them at that point. Now we're 13 kilometers up.
Yep, looks like we're coming down for
250 meters a second.
We're definitely falling.
Burning along horizontal mainly. Now we're 8 kilometers up. That's still 200 meters a second, which is starting to get slightly worrying.
Yeah.
I'm going, maybe I should pump some fuel down into the bottom. 5 kilometers up, 120 meters a second. Okay, I am definitely worried now. Fuel's
going
low.
a bit fast.
We're accelerating again. Pump all the fuel from the tiny fuel tanks in the top lander into the thing at the bottom. 126 meters a second, 1.5 kilometers up. Now I'm panicking. Full throttle, 1 kilometer.
Into overdrive.
100 meters a second.
That's not very long.
90 meters a second at 600 meters.
Oh, it's going down though.
80 meters
slowly.
a second at 500 meters. 400 meters. 300. 200.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good. 55 meters a second at 100 meters and 45. Yeah, 46.
Smack.
46 meters a second when we impact the surface.
Oh, that is a sight of, well, it's beautiful in a sort of
It's
horrible way.
Horrible, deathy, destruction-y kind of way. And thump.
Boom. Well,
So that could have gone
mission
better.
yeah.
But luckily, it was just a simulation, which is what I like to say when I reload a quick save from about 5 minutes previously and try again.
Funnily enough, all the Kermans on there look quite happy with the result, really.
Don't really seem to know what's happening. It's like, yeah, this seems fine.
So
here we are again, coming in for a landing. A bit slower this time, 5 meters a second at 20 meters up. So we're
That
kind
sounds
of
a bit better.
and the lights are on as well. And
a bit of a wobble.
It's good. It's all good. Hooray, we've landed.
Yeah, take 2.
So now have a look at the abundance. It's 0.24%, which is okay, not the highest, but reasonable. We can probably work with that.
Yep.
So now
We
it's
do a
time
bit of digging, it'll be all right.
Now it's time to pump what fuel remains back into the top craft to try and lift it off and get it landed.
Right.
And what fuel that remains is not very much.
Do we need to? We should probably deploy the solar panel or something at this point, but
There's actually plenty of electric power in it. On top of the engine clusters there's a battery on top of each of the engine outriggers there. So there's plenty of
yellow Duracells.
Yep, there's plenty of power, but oh, hang on, it's starting to fall over, so quick, engage the engines. We need to lift off. And then drop the landing legs, and then bounce off the ground. No, it's all going horribly wrong, and we're far too far from the tanker now. So we need to turn around, and I've turned the camera around, but not my controls, so then I get terribly confused and fly the wrong way again.
Right, left.
So, no, slow down, go back the other way. Where's the ground? Okay, it's quite a long way below. We're all right.
It's a good job there's low gravity here.
Yeah. 40 meters, 30, 20, 10. Oh, no.
Boing.
This doesn't look good. And I go, no, I think I can save it. I can just flip it over.
Yep.
Flip it
Nothing
over.
could go wrong.
Turn the engines back on. We can still do this. Although there's only 3 meters a second of fuel left. That's 2, 1, 0. Boink. Into the ground and explodes.
Boom! More prettiness. Isn't that lovely?
So that's how not to do it, right? Because that was pretty terrible. Yeah, that kind of exploded and the engines fell off. But, as they say, third time's the charm.
Yeah.
So here we are, learning from my previous experience, coming in at a quite sedate pace to land. And throttle up at the last second, and yeah, that was a good landing. I'm quite pleased with that.
Better. Yep.
And also I kind of go, well, in order to avoid having the lander fall off the top this time, why don't I deploy the legs first?
That's just crazy.
See, that's using the old noodle.
Yeah. Or the legs.
Well, yes, actually, the legs would be better.
Yeah.
Now that you can't mention it, the legs would be a better choice than noodles there. I don't know what I was thinking, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, pump the fuel into the top again. There's actually about 3 times as much fuel left over because I was better with the approach this time as well. So pump it all up into the top.
Pumpy pump pump.
Just check the other tanks. Yep, they're all empty. And extend the legs. Zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. Deploy the landing frame and then decouple the docking node. It bounces a bit. The legs go onto the top of the ship. And
up we go.
Yep, that's more or less good. Didn't fall off or anything.
Wow.
So the engines are on. Thrust up gently.
Up we
fly away from the ship in a direction I can actually manage with. And also, I'm actually thinking ahead here and going, it doesn't matter if we're too far from the lander because we can just land, drill loads of fuel, and then we can fill it up and we'll have more than enough to fly back. So
Cunning.
Here we are. I'm going.
Landed again.
This is probably fine. This
right.
is
So
fine.
that's our escape vehicle.
Extend the solar panels. This is the Prospector, the mining vehicle.
Right.
So it's got a carbonite detector on it. Underneath that is a carbonite tank, a small one. And there's a drill on the bottom which I'm now deploying.
Deploy the drill.
And it goes. Stab.
We have stabbed the moon.
Stabbed the moon, and now we're extracting carbonite with the drill. And then underneath the lander
Basically, we're
can,
doing bad things to the moon without even asking it.
And underneath the lander can, there is a carbonite to liquid fuel and oxygen converter. And actually, underneath the detector and on top of the carbonite tank, there's actually a distiller which turns carbonite into xenon gas and monopropellant. And it's monopropellant that I'm primarily interested in, because we're not using xenon gas yet.
No.
So I'm just checking the fuel tanks to see if they're filling, and they are.
Hurrah!
So hurrah!
Hurrah!
Success! With
Excellent.
no problems.
At all. It's like everything went completely to plan.
It was utterly flawless.
Yeah.
Perhaps in some alternative universe something went hideously, horribly wrong, but not in this one.
Not in this universe. No, no.
So, also on this ship, there is a ladder, which I'm about to extend. And I don't know if you can see on the
is that a mobility extender it's called?
It's the Tellus LV Mobility Enhancer.
Or, as we like to call it, a ladder.
Yep. And what's on the side of the ship there on the fuel tank, there's an orange thing.
Oh, there is.
And that's actually a pipe connector from a mod which is called Kerbal Attachment System, which is about giving Kerbals stuff to do on EVA. So what I'm going to try and do here...
We're going to attach the Kerbal to that pipe.
...is... no, I'm going to grab... and he's going to climb down the ladder and attach a pipe. If he's going to climb down the ladder eventually, and attach a pipe to that. And then he's going to run over to the tanker, which also has a pipe connector on it. And try and link them together.
Have we got enough piping?
Well, it's quite a long way.
It is a bit.
We will have to see. I mean, I was thinking, well, this might work, but if it doesn't, I'll just fill the... Ah! He fell off. Nope, he's fine. I was thinking, if it doesn't work, I'll just fill the lander up and then fly it over there.
Yeah.
And do it from there. Because you can see occasionally it turns red, which means it's in an illegal position and won't work. Either because it's clipping through a part of the ship, or falls over again like an idiot. No, it's good. It's clipping through a part of the ship, or it's just too long. And I think I actually managed to get both here. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's just probably too far away. And it goes, no, max angle or length reached. So, right, give up.
Oh, just too slow.
Never mind, we'll just leave him on the surface so we can link the pipe up.
Can you link one pipe to another? So pull a pipe out from that ship and over to this one.
Yeah, the pipe endpoints are the same, so it doesn't matter which one you start at.
Right. I mean, like each ship, stick a pipe out.
Well, we've only got
one extendo pipe.
I mean, you can link. You can only link 2 pipe connectors together, but you don't need to be carrying pipes along because the linking is part of the extender. So anyway, the tank's full. Retract the drill. Make sure everything's turned off. Check that the monopropellant's full anyway, so that's not going to work. Turn it off again. And check that it's full of fuel, which it is. And I'm just trying to get some electric charge back into it. It does have loads. It doesn't really need more than 1500 to execute a short flight, but obviously I'm being paranoid now. And lights on and lift off. Just gently fly over. I can take my time now because there's a huge amount of fuel.
Lovely. For
these lovely efficient nuclear engines. Which is another issue that we don't talk about. Obviously, the proximity to the exhaust of a nuclear engine. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's completely fine.
They're green already, and what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. Lovely, healthy nuclear energy.
Oh. No. Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. But it's facing the wrong way, so I need to lift off again and rotate it. It's just enough thrust to get the feet above the ground so it'll turn.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks good. Now we go to the nearest pipe end point, which is on that side of the tanker, because I didn't want to have to faff around rotating the tanker. And he flies over to here, grabs the ladder, links the pipe. Done!
Hooray!
Now this is now effectively a single vessel, as far as the game's concerned. Which is why the camera's pointing in between the 2 ships, because that's where the centre of mass is.
Weirdness.
So we turn on liquid fuel and oxidizer mix, and turn on. There's a mod I'm using called Good Speed Automated Fuel Pumps, which is also very useful, because you can assign them a level and turn on automatic pumping, and high level pumps will pump automatically into lower level fuel tanks.
Okay.
So I just set the ones on the miner to be like 8, and the ones on the tanker to be 7, and it just pumps it across.
It sorts it all out.
So now it's a question of doing a lot of time acceleration, which is what I'm kind of faffing about with here, and making sure there's enough electric charge, watching the fuel fill up, which it does very fast.
Round things spin.
And around things go, and if you see, every time I go back to 1 times time acceleration, the lander jumps into the air.
Yeah, that's a bit alarming.
Slightly unnerving.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it stops working.
That's
I go, why is that? And it says it's eclipsed by Kerbal, so I decide to look at the eclipse for a bit.
That's nice.
That's lovely. And now the electric charge is filling up again.
Hurrah.
So we can go back. Oh, jump.
Boing, boing, boing.
And it fills up with liquid fuel. Ooh. fills it with monoprop. It's still very unnerving. That's what it's actually doing in real time. Sproing into the air and bouncing around in a slightly terrifying manner.
Yes, why exactly?
I don't know.
We really shouldn't have made those legs out of pogo sticks.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the tanker's full now.
Hurrah!
So we could get somebody to climb out again and disconnect that pipe, and then the tanker can leave.
Yeah, having collected all that fuel.
Slurped up all the delicious fuel.
So do we basically leave the drill here for future use?
Yes, it's there's still 2 crew in it, but yeah, we leave it here. It's our
Just leave them on the moon.
It's our mining site now. It did occur to me after I'd done all this that I could just have made it an automated one and put a probe core in it, but it's too late now.
Well, they've got an extended holiday on the moon forever.
At some point we'll send up a crew mission. At this point I go, well, we're on the moon and we need money probably, so why don't we see if we've got a plant flag on the moon mission. And there isn't one in the list currently, but I just cancel this one on Minmus and one pops up, which is handy. So alright, let's do that. Accept the contract.
Do it immediately.
Switch immediately back to the guy who's standing on the surface.
Hey you, would you like a flag on the moon?
Well, yes, I would. On the
okay,
moon.
It's done. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to take longer than that.
So we did it now. Just one phone call.
Yeah, we're just going to phone the moon.
And obviously put some text on it.
Yeah.
Which says delicious minerals.
Just for reference.
And there's the contract. 68,000 funds.
Oh, that was easy.
Reputation.
Yep.
He jumps back onto the ladder.
That was very acrobatic.
That was pretty cool. And he climbs back in. Done.
Yep.
And there's the miner, and now we switch to the tanker, which has got like a lot
Big
of fuel
tanks.
tanks on it. Because you can see it's like delta V is 11.5 kilometers a second, which is a lot. But the low thrust means I'm having some difficulty actually getting any speed up. See, this.
You don't seem to be leaving.
No, this is the thing. And this is running like quite fast. You see the seconds ticking by in the top left, and it's just constantly pointed at 45 degrees, desperately trying to get the orbital speed up.
And you're
I'm kind of going
slowly
wow.
climbing 36, 37, 38.
Yeah.
All that fuel we
And
got.
then I go into physics time warp because I'm getting so bored. Just hoping the ship won't explode under the stress.
Yeah.
And finally, we get some altitude and some velocity going.
Hey, and we're out.
Eventually we are... So we've got half an orbit there.
Yep.
So I'll just go and circularise that. But yeah, and the burn that takes us back to Kerbal is another good one. And the orbit's also a bit inclined, which is kind of annoying, but I just kind of set up a return and go, yeah, get that more or less like that. Good, fine, whatever, let's just go. And spin it round to point the right way, and time warp until time for burn. And this is another 2-minute burn, which obviously we will not be progressing through in 2 minutes, because for heaven's sake. Right, okay, done. And we just whiz away, moon falls away, Kerbal comes up. And now we need to arrange an interception with the station, because that's what this is for. We're supposed to be bringing it back to fuel the station up. So first of all we bring that orbit down a little. And but because we're kind of intersecting with the orbit already, you can see the intersect point whizzing round and round. And so we kind of get quite a good one. The purple one there, I think, is it's 0.9 kilometers, that one, which is pretty good.
Ooh, look at those lovely lights.
And yeah, station's in pitch blackness again. But that
now we can
experiment
actually
is
see it.
finished. So
Yeah,
I don't
good.
keep the data, and I try and find another experiment in the pitch darkness. Where's the ship? There it is. Okay, start that one, whatever. And this is a cyclotron one, so the cyclotrons all light up, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah. That's nice.
And we're collecting quarks with a K. And so you have to wait until the quarks finish, but it doesn't take very long.
Yeah. Until the quark collection is up. Someone's gone round and scooped them all up.
Yep, there's a bucket of quarks there, and now it's done, so the experiment continues, and the cyclotron's shut off, and we go back to the tanker. And go, yep, there's our interception. So round we go, and getting there, 40 kilometres away, and now we need to get up our rendezvous information and start slowing down. And this is where we kind of run into a problem again, because we're going 150 metres a second and we're 17 kilometres away. And now we're 12 kilometres away, 300 metres a second.
Oops.
So, and 250 metres a second, 7 kilometres away. And
that's not so good.
Yeah, 200 metres a second at 2 kilometres. Docking alignment thing pops up very optimistically, and we hurtle past the station. We're now going away from the station in the other direction. Yeah, so this engine, I mean, I like it, but I don't think this is the right use for it. I think I may consider building a new tanker and sacrificing some fuel economy in exchange for actually being able to do stuff.
Yeah, utility is slightly helpful.
Yeah, because we've only just now arrested our velocity and going back towards the station again, and it flew out to 5 kilometres away again by the time we were able to do that. So that's kind of ridiculous. And that's the other thing, you know, the interception at first was on the day side, and I was thinking, brilliant. But now, because I've had to faff about and whiz past and fly
it is
back,
traditional. It's
now
in
it's
the dark
dark again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. So I guess, yeah, I was gonna say, turn the lights on. And we're moving in quite slowly, and I've sped the footage up quite a lot because I really didn't want to have to burn this engine at any kind of speed close to the station, just because of the sheer lack of acceleration power it has. But anyway, there's the station. We can see it now. I'm going to switch docking ports at this point to go down to the one at the bottom. But yeah, so dark. And the other thing, of course, so much mass. The little RCS thrusters have trouble doing their job properly.
Poor little thrusters.
And yeah, and I'm kind of rotating the ship around so that it's working in a way that's not utterly confusing to me looking at it. Just sort of
it's
up,
black,
up is in fact
black
up.
Background heading towards a black ship.
Yeah, and of course some black solar panels against a black background as well.
Yeah, it's all win really.
Yeah. And at this point, fairly soon, I realised that we're drifting awfully close to the aforementioned solar panels.
Yes.
And kind of buoying into them just there, and the station wobbles like mad, but nothing breaks off. So
this is good.
So we consider that a win.
Yeah.
Managed not to break
Have
anything.
not broken the ship.
There's a few more scratches on the station, but it's not broken, so
it's just character building.
It's all good.
Now that gives us a better idea of the proximity.
Yeah, I should have really gone round to one of the other docking ports that's not underneath.
Yeah.
Especially with a ship as ungainly as this one. But it's
not
easy.
It's not the most delicate or.
It's easy to have 20/20 hindsight. I mean, it is just a massive lump
slam.
Of flying fuel that whams into the station wobbles again.
And it bounces off.
Bounces off and comes back in.
Yep.
But it's docked. So. And I'm going, alright, we've got lots of fuel, let's pump it into the centre of the station.
So it's basically this can now travel between the moon and.
That's the plan, yeah. Because when only a small amount of the tanks are full, it still should have enough fuel to fly back to the moon and land.
Near that point we were before,
yep.
Honest.
That's the idea. I'm still seriously considering scrapping it and putting a less annoying tanker up instead.
Well, at least we've got the drill there, though.
But the drill's there. The drill's in place and doing its job. And so I'm currently just defueling the lander that has that finished experiment on it. And then I go, wait a minute, I should just be doing it in the sunshine where I can actually see.
Yeah.
And then, hey, now we can see, and it looks a bit weird with that thing glommed on the side.
Glommed.
But, and then you can see that actually, I didn't notice at the time, because this is all sped up, but the monoprop is actually ticking down slowly as well. Because the station is still wobbling around, and the RCS
so
is
it's trying to stabilise itself.
Yeah, so it's burning monoprops trying to stabilise the station. Which I didn't realise.
Can we mine monoprop?
The distiller that's on the lander turns carbonite into monoprop.
Oh, that's cool.
So the monoprop tanks on the tanker were actually empty.
Right.
And I filled them up on the moon.
Hurrah.
So we dump all the monoprop into the station, or fill the station up with it, and that's it. Success. Kinda. Mostly.
Yep.
A few false starts.
Well, we went to the
perhaps,
moon, we got some stuff, we brought it back.
Got some stuff, brought it back.
And there were no explosions.
No explosions at all.
No.
None.
Definitely not.
None whatsoever. So I've just disconnected the lander, fly dangerously close to the solar panels again. and we're taking this experiment back to Kerbal now, because it's finished. And so the station disappears off into the sun again. And down into the atmosphere. So yeah, I think the plan, such as it is solid, but that tanker is perhaps not a good design and needs to be adjusted. But we've got a sort of workable idea anyway.
It does seem to be coming down quite quickly.
Yeah, time warped obviously, but yeah, we were heading for the mountains as well, which is sometimes worrying, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Parachutes arrest the descent nicely. And then
normally it's a splashdown, isn't it?
Boink. Yeah, we've had quite a lot of splashdowns, but this one is just thump, and it fell over. And so, there we are.
We made it.
There is our beautiful prospector with a flag next to it. And that's what we did this week.
Yeah, we made it to the moon.
Made it to the moon, and we stuck a big drill into the moon's face.
And we left a couple of people there to mock it.
Yep, and they're just sitting there in the lander going, did you bring any cards? because it might get a bit boring.
Yeah, after the first few thousand days.
Yes, and so that's us for this week. I think overall, barring the odd fiery explosion, that was a success. To some people, the fiery explosions may have been the entire thing. I don't know.
Should there have been fiery explosions? I think they would have been very entertaining.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
So next week, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We have discussed building moon bases and such, and so we might.
Yeah, that's sort of a moon base.
That's sort of a moon base. So certainly they begin
somewhere with a canteen.
But it would probably be good to have somewhere that's a bit less cramped for the mining crew to sort of live.
Yeah.
So that's something to
they can hang out and play proper games, like, put a bowling alley up there on the moon.
Yep, absolutely. So that's that. We might put a new tanker up there. We might not. We might do some space station maintenance, because with Kerbal attachment system we can fly up there and stick things on the station that we might have forgotten, like an antenna for it to transmit stuff back to the planet, or what have you. So,
indeed.
Who knows? You'll just have to tune in and find out. So, thank you very much for watching, as usual, and we will see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Bye.